Today we're talking about how to get a real estate license here in Florida, to be able to start a real estate career literally in weeks. We have students that have obtained their real estate license as quick as 17 days, and many who have done it under 30 days as well. And we also have a 1-year retake guarantee if you want to take a little bit longer. But what we're going to be doing today is we're going to cover the requirements. So what's required to get a real estate license? We're going to talk about the steps involved, from the fingerprints to the application to the courses to passing the state exam, and how you could potentially do this in 30 days or less. Now, we are live. We are live right now. So if you go to tsre.us/live, you could join the official live feed, the official live broadcast. I'm going to put this up here right now. This has all of our contact info, all of our information. If you have any questions specifically as it pertains to you, maybe one of the popular questions we get very often is, what if I have some sort of criminal background? Can I still get a real estate license? And the short answer is yes. Ultimately, it depends in the application process, but many people do have a criminal background and are able to get a real estate license. We have an attorney as well that we could refer you to. So any questions you have about real estate, about starting a real estate career, 813-333-2676. You could reach out to our licensed advisors, get your questions answered. These people, they don't just have sales associate licenses themselves. We have instructors on our advising team as well as real estate brokers, people that hold a real estate broker license. So whether you're transferring into Florida from another state, you're getting a real estate license for the first time, whatever that may be. And then again, this link down here at the bottom, tsre.us/live. So go ahead and head over there now. If you're tuning in on Instagram, that's cool. You won't be able to see the whole screen though, but you'll be able to hear the sound of my voice. So that might get you all the way there and everything it is that you need. But if you do want to be able to follow along with the visuals that we have for you today, tsre.us/live. And let's get right into it. So first things first, the Florida real estate license requirements. So what is required in order for you to get a Florida real estate license? So number one is you have to be at least 18 years old. Now, let's say you're 17, you're going to turn 18 next month or within the next couple of months, and you want to get started by enrolling in the class, either online, in person, whatever the case may be. You could do that. The key thing is you won't be able to do your application with the state of Florida for the actual license until you do have at least 18 years of age. Now, next requirement is a high school diploma or its equivalent. So as far as equivalency goes, many different things will count as an equivalency. It could be a GED. It could even be homeschooling. Whatever it is that's the equivalent of a high school diploma, high school level education, even again, if that's homeschooling, when you do your application with the state of Florida, getting into a little bit of the detail on this here, there's going to be basically a yes or no checkbox. And that's all you're putting on your application. You do not need to have a copy of your diploma. So you don't actually need the physical diploma. You just have to attain that level of education, and you select yes on your application if you've got a high school education or equivalent. Now, next thing up is a U.S. Social Security number. Now, a U.S. Social Security number does not necessarily mean you are a U.S. citizen. You could get a U.S. Social Security number without being a U.S. citizen. You do not need to be a U.S. citizen to get a Florida real estate license. You do not need to be a Florida resident to get a Florida real estate license. When you do your application with the state, you'll select whether you do the Florida resident application or the non-resident application. And what ultimately makes you a resident is if you live in Florida for at least 4 calendar months. If you plan to, or you currently reside in Florida for at least 4 calendar months, that makes you a Florida resident. But it doesn't matter in terms of your eligibility to get the license, because again, resident or not, you could get a Florida real estate license. Even again, if you don't have U.S. citizenship, as long as you can obtain a U.S. Social Security number, which an immigration attorney would be able to help you out with that. You could try to navigate the IRS and the Social Security Administration on your own potentially, but I believe government is almost intentionally confusing. And I don't think it is intentional ultimately. That's maybe more of a joke. But ultimately, as much regulation as they apply, it becomes very complex very quick. And so that's where having experts, whether it's related to the law, whether it's related to selling or buying a home, it's perfectly legal to be able to buy and sell real estate without a license. So if you want to buy real estate, you don't need a license to do that. However, having a license does provide you many of the advantages personally to being able to use that license for your own transactions, as well as using it for referral fees, or if you want to be a full-service real estate agent. It opens up a lot of doors, a lot of opportunities. It's a very generalized license. There's no separate license in Florida for commercial real estate. There's no separate license for any other type of real estate, whether it's commercial, agricultural, industrial. It's a business. Even businesses in Florida are presumed to be real estate. So if you want to be able to be a business broker, you'll need a real estate license to do that. Now, going back to the requirements to get that real estate license. So number one, again, you got to be at least 18 years old. Number two, high school education or equivalent. You check yes or no on the application for that. Number three, U.S. Social Security number. You do not need to be a Florida resident. You do not need to be a U.S. citizen even. Number four, this is where we come in to provide you what is required by the Florida Real Estate Commission in terms of education to get this real estate license. And this is a 63-hour sales associate pre-licensing course. Now, if you're familiar with how they do like credit hours in college, that's not how this is here. This 63 hours is actually less than an actual 63 hours because the Florida Real Estate Commission only counts 50 minutes as an hour versus 60. It's right in their rules. And so this is actually a course that you could complete in 1 week. You know, we've actually even have students that have done our on-demand course and completed it in less than a week. Now, to do that, you're basically in a live format. That's a 7-day class, basically like 9 to 5, 8:30 to 5, something along that schedule, Monday through Sunday. We also have 2-week schedules, 3-week schedules, 4-week schedules, weekend schedules, evening schedules, morning schedules, day schedules. Whatever the question may be in terms of scheduling, I'll put this right up here one more time. 813-333-2676. You can actually find our whole schedule online at tampaschool.com. So tampaschool.com, you can find the whole class schedule of not just our in-person locations, but we also live stream classes online with an interactive chat, web-based, no Zoom, nothing to download, very easy to access online live streaming system. You get a little account you sign in with, you just click the link, you join in, you complete the class, we'll ship you out a book even to follow along with it, and you get your credit, you get your education, you get what you need to know. So any questions about any of that? 813-333-2676. Again, the website is tampaschool.com. You can see all the schedules, and if you're watching on Instagram right now, or YouTube, or Facebook, or wherever it is that we're restreaming this, if you want to join the official live broadcast, go to tsre.us/live, and especially for those of you all tuning in on Instagram, you'll be able to see the full screen instead of just the middle of the screen. But let's jump back into the requirements. So again, you have questions about the class, and it isn't just live. You could do it on demand as well. We actually have a pre-recorded video on demand class. And with the pre-recorded video on demand class, it's like a one-on-one class. But it's all segmented and broken up into little bits and pieces so you can complete it little by little. We even give you a physical copy of the textbook as well, so you could follow along with that, or you could just go by the visuals that are on screen. And you get 1 year access to it as well. Not that you need 1 year to complete it, because again, we've had students complete this in less than a week, but you have 1 year in case you need a little bit more time. In case after you finish, you want to go back and review any of the information in the course, because you retain access to all the previous videos and content, so that way you could use that to prepare you for your state exam as well. So many different options for that. A few $100s to get that course, depending on which format it is that you choose. So very low barrier to entry to get a real estate license in Florida in terms of, again, these are the requirements. This is the big education piece of it here. It's a class that can be done in basically 7 days or less. or longer, depending how you want to stretch it out, what schedule you want to choose, etc. Now, the fingerprints in the application, I'm going to go a little bit more in detail on those before we wrap up today, so we're going to come back to these here. But essentially, what you're doing with the fingerprinting is you're submitting fingerprints through an FDLE-approved live scan vendor. So they have to be Florida Department of Law Enforcement approved in order to be able to accept your fingerprints for a Florida real estate license. So you do have to use a Florida-based company to be able to do those fingerprints. But in case you are out of state, so if you're doing this outside of Florida where you're getting your fingerprints done, you'll get them done on ink cards. If you're doing them within the state of Florida, you'll get them done electronically. If you're out of the state of Florida, you get those ink cards and then you mail them to one of those vendors here in Florida that has the capability of accepting out-of-state ink cards. But if you are within the state of Florida, you can do those electronically. We have links on our website to be able to schedule appointments with different locations and so on and so forth, and more generalized information about the fingerprinting as well as the application. But there's so much information on the website. Don't forget that phone number I gave you at the beginning, 813-333-2676. Call or text us 24/7 at that number. We'd love to help you advance your real estate career. Now, final step. There is going to be an end-of-course exam, and after your end-of-course exam, you'll then have to pass your state exam. Now, these exams are 100 questions. They're multiple choice, A, B, C, D. And for the course, you need to score 70%. For the state exam, you need to score 75 out of 100 multiple choice questions, A, B, C, D. There's about 10 math questions on your exam, but those are also multiple choice. So even if you're terrible at math, listen, you can even use a calculator on the exam. And even if you bomb all 10 math questions, you could still get a 90% and still pass with flying colors and get your real estate license. We actually have distilled down something called the Pass First Try strategy, which I won't get into the full details of that today. If you want to find out more, go to passfirsttry.com. But essentially, it simplifies into 4 steps of how to basically study and be able to set yourself up for success in passing that exam the least amount of time possible, preferably on the first try. But anyways, that is your Florida real estate license requirements. Again, just to recap these before we talk about the exact steps and the order it is that you should do those in. Number 1, have to be at least 18 years old. Number 2, high school education or equivalent. There's no need to provide a diploma. It's a yes or no check mark on your application. A U.S. Social Security number. So you don't have to be a U.S. citizen. You don't have to have a Florida residency, but you do have to have a Social Security number. The 63-hour pre-licensing course. Now, there is an exemption from this requirement if you're an attorney in good standing with the Florida Bar. So if you're an attorney in good standing with the Florida Bar, all you'll have to do is pass the state exam. Same thing if you have a degree in real estate. So if you have a university degree in real estate, meaning you basically did multiple years of education specifically for a degree in real estate, then that would also potentially exempt you from this course. You submit your transcripts to the DBPR, they let you know if you qualify, and then again you go right to the state exam. But if you're thinking about a career in real estate, rather than spending 7 years in school, whatever the plan may be for that, and however many student loans that may cost, again, a couple $100 to take the course that can be completed in as little as 7 days of the live schedule, maybe even faster with our on-demand programs, depending on how quickly you go through them. And again, a few $100s versus multiple years and tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan debt. So that's not what we do here at Tampa School of Real Estate. We're not a university. We're not a college. We're a school, and we teach real estate. And we're actually a Florida Real Estate Commission approved real estate school. I'm a Florida Real Estate Commission approved instructor. There's examinations, applications, background checks, and so on and so forth. Our courses are approved directly by the Florida Real Estate Commission for the credit that you need to be able to take that state exam. So you're in great hands here, because not only do we have all these certifications, which basically every other school that can offer this does, but on top of that, we are also the highest rated real estate school in Florida. We actually now have over 3,400 reviews. If you go right to tsre.us, our main website, you'll see little things of that everywhere. You can click right over to our review page, and you can see all those reviews. And it's across multiple places, so multiple Google locations, our Facebook, Yelp, everything. It brings it all together, but we've got over 3,400. And that alone is a lot of students, but even more so, all the students who haven't even left reviews, that have gone through our programs, that have gone on, and before we were asking for reviews. We just started asking for reviews the last couple of years, and, we get quite a few, because we're great at what we do here, but I'll stop talking about Tampa School Real Estate because you're still trying to figure out, well, what do I do to get my real estate license? I already like Tampa School. And the thing you'll like about us is we're here to help you. So you could call in, again, 24/7, 813-333-2676. Call or text us. And any questions you have, any way we could help you, just let us know. Our advisors are extremely eager to answer your questions and help you better understand. So we talked about the requirements. Let's get into the steps. Number one is taking that 63-hour course. Now, there is one exception where I wouldn't say to enroll in the course right away, which is if you have a criminal background that involves any sort of fraud, theft, larceny, insurance schemes, any sort of financial crimes. So if you have any sort of financial crimes, also maybe arson, you can hold off on taking the course and make sure the state will approve you first. Now, if you haven't committed arson, if you haven't committed any financial crimes, there's probably not going to be any issue with you getting a real estate license. And by financial crimes, I also mean theft. Theft is also something they will want an explanation for. So it's not a black or white whether or not you get a real estate license or not, because even if you've had, insurance fraud and theft and arson all in your background, you were like some pyromaniac that was stealing all this money from people to go burn down houses. I don't know. Why would they give you a real estate license? But if that was just who you were then, and maybe you were off your medications and you've got all these things to show how you're a great citizen of the community now, and that's not who you are anymore, they might grant you a real estate license. There's nothing saying that they can't. There's no rule that's written that says that if you've done this, you can't get a real estate license. Now, in that situation, again, the fraudster that's burning down houses, you're probably top of their list of people they wouldn't want to give a real estate license to. But again, what it comes down to, if you do have a criminal background, just to keep this short, because in case this doesn't apply to you, you don't even have to worry about this. But again, if you do have a criminal background and you want to be sure that you can get a real estate license before you start investing the time and money to take the course, just go ahead and do the fingerprints, submit the application. It'll take up to 90 days for that approval. So even if you don't have a criminal background, the sooner you do your fingerprints and application, the better. So that way you're not sitting around waiting for the application to be approved. Typically, it is just usually about a week or 2 weeks maybe for those approvals, sometimes 3 weeks if they're a little bit busier. But if you do have a significant criminal background or something it is that they do want to hear an explanation for, they'll put you on what's called their summary of applicants. And so what you do is you go to one of their FREC monthly meetings and you speak to the Florida Real Estate Commission, ideally with an attorney there, to help present the case of why you should be granted a real estate license. But like I said, you don't have a criminal background, or even if you do, if it's a DUI, that's not something that they're really concerned about. They're not, if you've made mistakes in your past, that's okay. You will have to put the full court documentation on your application. But ultimately, again, the main ones they're concerned with are the financial crimes, arson, things like that. So if that's not in your background, you should be in good shape. And so if you feel confident, then yes, go ahead and get enrolled in the course right away. If you don't have a criminal background, there's nothing you need to worry about. If you haven't had any licenses taken away, any real estate licenses or other professional licenses taken away in another state, and you don't have a criminal background, there should be no reason why you can't be issued a real estate license as long as you're at least 18 years old, have a high school diploma or its equivalent, social security number, and so on and so forth. Now, the reason why we recommend doing this first, because again, if you don't have a criminal background, if you didn't get a license taken away, you shouldn't have any concern of whether or not you're eligible to get a real estate license, because you should be eligible to get a real estate license. So enrolling in that course, you're going to learn more about the licensing process because it actually is part of the curriculum. It's part of the information that can be tested on the state exam. So not only is it stuff you need to know about getting the real estate license, but it's also something for even passing the exam. There's a small section that has about 5 or 6 questions related to the license application, the licensing laws and rules, and so on and so forth. So that's actually covered right in your course. If you're taking one of our live in-person classes, we actually have a fingerprint vendor come in there on site for the class, so that way you can still do it ahead of time or whenever it is that fits your schedule, but we bring in a vendor so that way you can get your fingerprints taken on site. You're not having to go to multiple locations and drive all over the place to be able to get this done. So we bring in a fingerprint vendor, and what's great about the vendor it is that we bring in is they have multiple options. So you could pay in advance to get your fingerprints submitted right away. They also do like shop pay and payment plans, and then on top of that, they actually can take your fingerprints, put them on file, and then basically invoice you. So when you pay the invoice, that's when they get submitted. But that way you could just do that with a phone call and making a payment, or just paying right on their website rather than having to go into a place, get your fingerprints taken, and so on and so forth. So we've got a great vendor it is that we bring in to be able to help get those fingerprints all done, because it does have to be not just an FBI, but the main one, and this is more so important. Let me shrink that down so you can read it here. If you're out of state, because if you're out of state, pretty much any fingerprint vendor that's doing background checks, the higher level background checks, is usually going to be FBI, but if they're not in Florida, they probably won't have the FDLE. And there's actually, again, the rule that doesn't allow the out-of-state vendors to be able to submit that. It has to be a Florida vendor that is approved by the FDLE for those fingerprints there. And so this approval process, like I said, typically 2 to 3 weeks. So if you are trying to get your real estate license on like the 17-day plan, you don't want to be waiting around, because 3 weeks could actually even be 21 days. Which, I mean, isn't bad. That's still pretty quick of being able to get your real estate license. But that might be the reason why you want to come in and do the fingerprints in advance. We actually have a fingerprint vendor on site here in our New Tampa office. They're here, I'm pretty sure 9 to 5 is their hours here in the New Tampa office, and they also do appointments in case you need after-hour scheduling or anything like that. So get those done if you want to get those done ahead of time, so you get your application in, and that way you're not sitting around waiting for this here. But the biggest requirement really is taking this course. This is what's going to take the most amount of time. This is just passive time. This is just waiting time, which, again, you don't necessarily have to do these in this specific order. You do the fingerprints first, you can do the application first, you can enroll in the course first. You just have to have the approval that you'll get from these 2 items. So your approval to take the state exam has nothing to do with whether or not you're in this course. Because even if you haven't taken that course yet, you could still be approved to take the state exam. Now, how does that work? If you haven't even taken the course, how can you be approved to take the state exam if you haven't even taken the course? Well, they could approve you for the state exam without taking the course, because the course isn't required for the approval to take the state exam. But taking the state exam requires successful completion of the course, if that makes sense. So what that means is you could do the fingerprints, and you could do the application, and you could get the approval, and that approval gives you what's known as an FLREAPPID, which stands for Florida Real Estate Application ID. And so this Florida Real Estate Application ID is a long number, essentially, maybe like 8 or 9 digits long. And this number is your identifier that you'll use to schedule your state exam with Pearson VUE. Now, you could schedule your state exam for right after you finish the course. So especially if you're taking one of our live in-person courses, you could schedule this for like the day after, a couple of days after. A lot of our students do that, where they'll go get their approval, they'll schedule their state exam, and because a lot of times our students are signing up months in advance for our classes. That's why a lot of times our classes end up selling out sometimes before the class even starts, because we do have people signing up months in ahead of time, making sure that they've maybe got time off from work. I can't tell you how many times we've had people that are taking a class with us while they're on vacation. They use their vacation days essentially to go take a real estate class to be able to get a better job. better job or really be their own boss. That's usually what most people are getting their real estate license for, is they want to be more in control, myself included. That's the primary objective why I got my real estate license. Yes, I wanted to make more money. Yes, I wanted to have a better schedule, but at the end of the day, it was being in charge that I envied the most. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be in that role where I had ultimate control. And real estate's been able to give me that life in many different facets, not just through the buying and selling of real estate. That's just one aspect of being able to use your real estate license. And not just in the residential space. As I mentioned earlier, that real estate license works for commercial real estate. It works for agricultural property. It works for industrial property. It works for businesses. If you're a business broker, you want to be a business broker, you'll need a real estate license in Florida to be able to do that. So enroll in the course number 1, get in the course, start taking the course. Unit 2 is where you're going to start seeing that information about your fingerprints, about your application. It has all that right in there with the links and everything to go to get right to that. So again, that's going to be your best way going through this. Like I said, if you're concerned about your criminal background because maybe you have financial crimes, or if you have arson in your criminal background, that's where I'd say, okay, do your application first. But if that's not the case, then you should feel confident that you'll be able to get a real estate license, get enrolled in the course, and then that way you don't have to stress about doing the fingerprints and application and waiting for that approval before you start going through the biggest chunk of this. But if you do want to go that route, that's okay, because ultimately this approval, once you get the approval, it's good for 2 years. So you've got 2 years to not just complete the course, but also take your state exam. And if you've already completed your course and then you get your approval, well, you just got 2 years basically to take your state exam. But don't wait 2 years because you forget all this information, so get it done sooner rather than later. The end of course exam, again, that's a 70% you need to pass, and the state exam a 75. Again, these are A, B, C, D, multiple choice questions. 100 questions, A, B, C, D, multiple choice. 70% on your course, 75% on the state exam. So what do you guys think so far? Good information. Is this helpful? Is this beneficial? I'm going to go to the live chat. I'll put this up on the screen one more time in case you want to go to the official live chat, because I can't see the YouTube or Facebook or the Instagram chat on this screen right here. So if you want to ask any questions before we wrap up for today, go to this link right now, tsre.us/live. tsre.us/live. That should take you right to the page here, and it pops up like right on the side or something where it gives you the option to be able to chat in there. And if you do want to talk to an advisor confidentially, you could always call us at that phone number there, 813-333-2676. And we've got a really good question coming in on the chat. So if you, again, want to get in this chat, go in there right now. But this question is coming in from Thea. My understanding is that without a real estate license, you cannot receive commission. Your understanding is 100% correct. No commission whatsoever without a real estate license. No commission for the sale of real estate, whether it's residential, commercial, agricultural, industrial, or businesses. Those are your 5 categories of real estate. You cannot be a intermediary of bringing together buyers and sellers without a real estate license. So, now I did mention earlier that you can buy and sell on your own without a license. That's okay. It's called for sale by owner or being unrepresented as a buyer. Really, both cases you're unrepresented, which is usually a mistake. You know, if you were facing jail time, would you go represent yourself in a courtroom? Probably not. Even if you're an attorney, attorneys hire attorneys because they want a professional representing them. And so most people, if not everybody, I would say everybody wants a professional representing them. Very few people don't. It's just a question of how much they're willing to pay for that. And that's the great part about real estate is if you improve your negotiation skills, if you improve your sales skills, if you improve your customer service skills, you have the ability to make more money just by doing that. You don't have to hope that your boss recognizes the effort that you're putting in and gives you a raise. Your results will show what actually works. Your commission checks will show you where you're getting your best sources of leads, what were the best strategies they were using to convert these leads, what were the best techniques you were using to close these leads and get sales. And that's if you're actually practicing real estate. But then the other side of this here is for referral fees, which again, compared to going back to what Athea said, you do need a real estate license even if you're just getting a commission referral fee. And what a referral fee is that you basically have a contact, you know somebody, you have a contact, whether this is a lead you generated, a friend, family, it doesn't matter. It's just somebody who you have the contact information. And what you're doing essentially is connecting this person with a practicing real estate agent in exchange for a kickback of their commission. Typically maybe 25%, but I've signed referral agreements as much as 50%. My brother's actually doing a commercial deal right now, which if you get this to go through, it's going to be a 6-figure referral fee. Because it was a 50% referral fee, but a 6-figure referral fee. But even if it's just a couple $1,000s, I mean, that's exciting. Because if we're talking even just 25%, if it's a $10,000 commission, that means the kickback, the referral fee is $2,500, which again, you need a real estate license to get that referral fee because the state of Florida views you earning the referral, even though you're not the one doing the business, doing the sale, doing the transaction, because you're earning the money, you're reaping the benefits of those duties. That's why they require you to have a real estate license, even just earning a referral fee. And we break this down. We touch on it briefly in the pre-licensing course. You learn a little bit more about it in the post-licensing course, which is the course that you'll do for your first renewal. We recommend doing it right away because it's much more focused on business information. But ultimately, you have at least 18 months to get that done after you get your real estate license. But really great information in there, so I'm a huge fan of that post-licensing course. And again, getting it done as soon as possible. One more time, I'll mention this here before we answer this last question we have in the chat now. So if you do have any final questions that you want to submit in today about the licensing process, about the requirements, about getting started, about the classes, about what you need to do, or anything related to starting a real estate career, go right now to tsre.us/live. You'll see the video, not just there, but full screen. The replay will be available at that same link, that same page, once this is finished here. So you'll be able to rewatch any of this stuff if, in case you started, you got on here later, whatever the case may be. So tsre.us/live. But let's go to this last question here from Gene. Studying with a weekend prep to take my exam Tuesday for the 4th time. Okay, that's all right. And congratulations to you for going in there a 4th time. I've known people that have gone like 7 or 8 times. I think even one person, don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure he went into double digits. Which, at the end of the day, no one's going to know. So there's some Gene out there that's done it at least 4 times, but that's our best evidence that somebody has taken this more than one time. There's no way for me as a broker, as a citizen, as a instructor, as a real estate school, there's no way for me to see how many times you've taken the exam. And so don't let it discourage you. Don't let it get you down. Don't let it stop you. You know, some of us just aren't the best test takers. And you being a good test taker or not is not a good indicator of whether or not you'll be successful in real estate. So don't let this standardized test discourage you at all. Just get it done. The weekend prep is a great tool to help out with that. Make sure you're using the workbook, I would say, because that workbook can be really beneficial to actually see that on paper too. And remember that you could skip around. So being that you've already taken that exam multiple times, remember to use that result sheet where it shows which units you've missed the most questions. Drill those in. And my final tip for you is get in there and get another exam as soon as possible. Because the biggest mistake I see people make is going months sometimes between taking the exam. Don't let it be months. I wouldn't even let it really be weeks. I would get in there the next week, and then get in there the next week, and get in the next week, which is maybe what you're doing to be able to get to 4 times. But it's like $40-50, I think, for the state exam. The application currently is about 70 or 80, fingerprints in that same range as well, and ultimately a couple $100 for the course. So all in, it's under $1,000 to get a real estate license. Sometimes under $500, depending on which course option you're doing. If you're doing one of our on-demand online programs, you could get started for under $200 for one of those. So that's actually a promo we've got going on now. So in case you're watching this recording, it might be a little bit more than that. So if you do want to take advantage of that, we have that going right now at tampaschool.com. This is not just for Tampa. This is for the entire state of Florida. It's a Florida real estate license, Our courses are for a Florida real estate license. There's no such thing as a Tampa real estate license. It's not location specific within the state. It's just state specific. So your Florida real estate license that you'll be able to get through our courses here are going to allow you to practice real estate anywhere in Florida. And you can even earn referral fees out of state. So if you have somebody moving to Texas, and maybe you don't have a license in Texas, but you know somebody in Texas, or even if you don't know somebody in Texas, you go Google somebody in Texas, find somebody reputable, find somebody that answers the phone and say, hey, I've got a hot lead for you. Would you pay me a 30% referral fee, a 40% referral fee, a 20% referral fee, whatever you want to negotiate with them? And then you give them the lead contact info, they service the lead, they take care of them, they get the job done, and then you get a kickback of a referral fee. And that's one of the most overlooked ways to make some serious money in real estate, just because the amount of work, the amount of effort that it takes to be able to earn money from a referral fee is very low compared to, I mean, you still make great money, especially you look at it on an hourly basis and whatnot, but there's a lot of things to know, there's tools to have, there's a bit of a learning curve, learning how to do everything that a good real estate agent does. And so if you're having a hard time finding time to be able to bypass that initial early stages, or maybe get some more startup money to be able to invest in yourself a little bit more, to take some more workshops, to take some more trainings, to further your education and further yourself, maybe use that referral option, bank up some money, and then you could use that to launch your real estate career. Or maybe you've got a bunch of money saved up right now and you want to use that to launch your real estate career. There's so many different ways to do this, and most of our students actually start out part-time as well. So don't let that intimidate you that, like, oh, I don't have time to do this. Most of our students actually start off part-time, and it's not really so much about how much you work. It's more about how smart you work. That's what I really love about real estate. And also what I love about the control that real estate gives you is because you could focus on doing the right things. I mean, think of jobs that maybe you have right now or that you've had before where you've had to do busy work, where you're doing stuff that's, you know, whether it's like, I don't know, just something that doesn't make business. I mean, maybe you're dusting things, which at the end of the day I like, because I like a clean environment, and I do think that does help with business. But if no one's coming into the office here, if we're just talking on the phone and going to properties and going to like Starbucks and things like that to meet people at, then why are we wasting time organizing our office here? Why are we wasting time organizing our files? Let's get in contact with more people, maybe hire an assistant to take care of the organization, especially if that's not your strong suit. And you could get ideas like this through, you know, just finding videos or articles online, going to real estate workshops. There's tons of different real estate conferences. There's such a life of a real estate professional with so many opportunities abound. And that's why it's so important that you have a real estate business plan to help keep you on track, to keep you on track with your priorities rather than the priorities of everybody who has opportunities for you. We got one more question here from here. Is there an official list of how the exam questions are broken down? For instance, you mentioned that there are 10 math questions. Yes, there is. There actually is. The best thing I'll recommend to you is probably this website right here. So I'd write this one down. mp3audioreview.com. So MP and then the number 3 audioreview.com. So if you go to mp3audioreview.com, on that page there, it has the table of contents. You don't need to buy it to see the breakdown, but on that page, it has the table of contents, which has the percentages of every section from the exam. So that's mp3audioreview.com. It's one of our exam prep tools. All of our Pass First Try exam prep tools, we have these percentages next to everything. I'm just trying to think of whether or not the question simulator and the weekend prep, if they have that table of contents right there on that page. But mp3audioreview.com, because I know it has the breakdown of how long each unit is, and it has the percentages right there for that. So it's on that. You could find it officially on the actual Florida Real Estate Commission syllabus. So it's buried basically right near the application on the myfloridalicense.com website. If you have our digital materials, which is if you're doing one of our live programs, that is available in there, that syllabus. So that has the breakdown on it as well. And if you want, again, personalized help on any of this, 813-333-2676. But yeah, that should definitely help you out there. That looks like that's all the questions for the day. I want to thank you all for joining me. Again, if you do have further questions, if you want to find out more about getting a real estate license, starting a real estate career, our website, tampaschool.com, is a treasure of information. Because we have so many of these recorded videos on here, not just about licensing like we're talking about today, but if you want to learn about open houses, if you want to learn about commissions, if you want to learn about working with sellers, working with buyers, appointments, contacts, websites, every topic in real estate we've probably covered over the years, and we have it all archived right at tampaschoolofrealestate.com. So head over to that website, reach out to our advisors with any way it is that they can help you. I want to thank you all for joining me live today. We'll have the replay available on this same page here. If you want to find it, you can find it for the next week at tsre.us/live. So again, tsre.us/live. That's about all the time that we've got for today. So thank you again for joining me. I hope to see you next week, but until then, have a fantastic weekend, have a fantastic week ahead, and I'll see you next Friday.
The most powerful tool to study for your real estate exam is the Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate. We've used our years of experience in preparing students for the Florida real estate exam to bring you the most powerful exam study tool available. In the Question Simulator, you'll be able to go directly to a particular unit so you can focus on the sections where you need the most practice. We have also included the percentages of each unit so you know which units are the most important for your real estate exam. Every question will immediately give you detailed feedback, which is almost always more important than the question or the answer themselves. After completing all the questions in a particular unit, you can go through question by question and review any that you've gotten wrong. You could also print out a report at the end of each quiz. The Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate is 100% mobile compatible, so you can practice with test questions anywhere you have your phone with you. Enroll now at questionsimulator.com and get ready to pass your exam.
Are you studying for your Florida real estate exam? If you are, you need to check out our Pass First Try strategy. You're going to love this. It's 4 steps that we break down the process to study for your Florida real estate exam. So you're set up to pass your Florida real estate exam because that's what you're studying for, right? To pass your exam. It's 4 steps. Number 1, you learn the information. You've got to learn this to be able to pass the exam, but it doesn't stop at learning. Step 2, you've got to reinforce the basic, simple, key concepts. As you learn this information, keep reviewing the simple things. You don't need to know everything, but you got to review these basic key concepts. Step 3, you've got to test your knowledge. The exam's going to test your knowledge, so if you don't test your knowledge in advance, you won't find out if you know what you think you know until you take the exam. And then step 4 is be confident and prepared, because even if you know this material, you need to be confident that you know the material. Check out the full strategy at passfirsttry.com. That's passfirsttry.com. So you just got your real estate license. How can you jumpstart your real estate business? The number one thing you should do before you do anything else is post-licensing. Now look, this is already a requirement, so you're going to have to do it anyways, but here's why you want to do it early. The sooner you do post-licensing, the sooner you're going to learn the real-world concepts in post-licensing that will help you create a business plan, that'll help you plan for your success in real estate. Post-licensing is all about real-world topics that are usable, that'll help you grow your real estate business. And at Tampa School of Real Estate, we have the best post-licensing courses around. Find out more about how post-licensing can help you jumpstart your real estate career. Go to postflorida.com.
Have you seen what's going on in Tampa?
If you're looking to get in on the real estate action that's going on in Tampa right now, we're who you need to talk to. We can help you get your real estate license, start your real estate career. We're here to assist you for the life of your real estate career. Give us a call. Phone number is 813-928-0106, or check us out online at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Thinking about getting your Florida real estate license? Look, the process is probably easier than you think. We break it down step by step, how much it's going to cost, what it is that you need to do to get your Florida real estate license. Find out all of that and more at licensefl.com. Again, that's licensefl.com.
To get your real estate license but have been struggling to find an instructor-led course that fits your schedule? I'm proud to introduce to you our on-demand instructor-led pre-licensing course. Now you do not have to make a course schedule fit around your schedule to take an instructor-led course. This course is designed to be 100% video-based instruction. And this video-based instruction, even though this is pre-recorded video, still gives you the opportunity to engage and interact with the information to ensure your understanding of important key concepts so you're prepared for your end of course exam and state exam. My name is John Carismo, and I'll be your instructor in this course. And I've been with the Tampa School of Real Estate for several years now and have helped personally thousands of people going through the licensing process. I'm excited to be your instructor throughout this course. Now, as you're going through the course, if you need help, we're just a click away. In the corner, you'll see a little yellow chat bubble where you can message our student support team, where you'll be able to get in touch with our team of licensed support professionals that have sales associate licenses, broker licenses, and instructor licenses as well. So you don't have just one instructor. You have a whole team of people from the Tampa School of Real Estate to help keep you on track, to help keep you in the important information, and to help keep you moving closer towards building your real estate career, getting it off the ground, and being able to go out there to join a broker, to activate your license, and start earning commissions. All of that is possible and so much more. But to get started, you need to enroll. So enroll today. Take advantage of the special offer we have on this on-demand pre-licensing course. You'll have instant access. As soon as you enroll, you'll get an email with information to log into your course online so you can get logged in and start completing your course today. You don't have to wait until the class starts. The class is already there waiting for you. So take action today and let's start building your real estate empire.